Hi guys and welcome to my channel. So welcome to a special Bloodstock related post, as next week I will be venturing to the lands of Bloodstock, and I thought I would do 10 bands that you absolutely have to see at Bloodstock. So let's kick it off with the first band, which is Fallujah. So for those who know me, they'll know that I'm a massive Fallujah advocate. I thought The Flesh Prevails was an absolutely fantastic album, and then they signed to Nuclear Blast and released Dreamless, which is, I mean, it's just even better. It's everything that they'd kind of started to kind of identify with on The Flesh Prevails, and then boosted into a kind of an overdrive almost. It's also going to be probably their biggest festival appearance yet, I would say, so it's going to be worth waking up fairly early on the Saturday so I don't get too hungover. Number 2, Blind Guardian. Having main support on Friday will be the German power metal crazed guys, who I've never actually seen live. I've heard that they're really quite good, so I'd really like to see them. And you know, especially Beyond the Red Mirror, that was a pretty class album, to be honest. I wasn't really too kind of familiar with the band, but now I've listened to that, I think they're really great, and I think they're just going to put on a fantastic show at Bloodstock. Another band is Hatebreed. So I don't know if you guys caught them back on the Impericon tour last year. But they were absolutely fantastic. They released their brand new album, The Concrete Confessional, which is wicked. I mean, like, it's got tracks which are as good as Destroy Everything. Destroy everything! Destroy everything! Destroy everything! Obliterate what makes us one! Honor Never Dies and things like that. But yeah, they're just a great live band, and Jamie Jasta is just so fucking great with the crowd. And on number 4, coming in on Sunday, we've got the Death Metal Kings Obituary, who released their self-titled record back in March. It's not stopped kind of been played on my vinyl collection. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's just a solid start to finish kind of metal album, which I think everyone's gonna dig. Again on Sunday is Arch Enemy. So Arch Enemy will be releasing their brand new album Will to Power on the 8th of September, which is, I would say, probably in the metal community, one of the most anticipated albums yet this year. It features the new guitarist Jeff Loomis, and all I'm going to say is it's definitely one to watch out for. I can't really say too much. I can imagine that their show supporting my next band that I'm going to talk about is going to be absolutely brilliant, and I'm probably going to pull out all the stops, especially with, you know, something as big as Bloodstock. Which leads me on to Megadeth. It's alive! So I've loved Megadeth ever since I first heard Holy Wars, when I was looking for Metallica's Kill 'Em All, I think it was, ironically, and I found Megadeth. Dystopia was like, it was such a better record than, you know, Super Collider, all this sort of stuff. He had Chris Adler come in, and also, you know, Dave Ellefson on bass is like absolutely genius. And Kiko Luero is just, I think I've said that right. But Kiko's vibe is just like, it's brought so much new life into Megadeth, and it'll be interesting to see how they work kind of headlining and closing the festival. On Saturday, our headliners will be none other than the spooky Ghost. Yikes! Which will be fantastic. This is probably one of their biggest shows to date at a festival, especially seeing as they are headlining it. I think that they've got more than enough potential. They played the Palladium in London, they sold that out, you know, they sell out every venue that they've played. So I think it's going to be really cool. Again on Saturday, Although, kind of worryingly, after that Facebook post, I hope they're still going to be here, but King 810 are scheduled to be playing on the main stage. I mean, I would like to see King 810 just because they're so different. You know, it's almost like spoken word, I find. And I think it will be really interesting to see how they pull it off in the crowd. Because I'll be honest, like before La Petite Mort, I was kind of like, I didn't really sort of get them and I didn't really listen to them. But I listened to that record and it really kind of struck a chord. It was really, really great. So it will be interesting to see how that's pulled off live, definitely. And then we've got a band that I've always wanted to see live, but sadly, I've never, ever had the opportunity to, which is Testament. I've even had a chat with Chuck Billy, who is the nicest dude in the world. He's huge, by the way. I've never been able to see the band at all, so this is going to be the first time that, for me, I'm going to be seeing Testament, and I really cannot wait. Excuse me, my little cat has made a guest appearance. Come on, get out of the way. And finally, it brings us to our Vikings, which is Amon Amarth. I think of all people, Amon Amarth are fantastic to open up this festival. You know, headlining slots are pretty tricky. You've got to get people in the mood. It's going to be fantastic, and I think it just sucks, man. Like, I remember when I saw them at Download and they were main stage at like 12 o'clock, and I was like, this band could be so much more. And that kind of brings me to what I love about Bloodstock, is that Bloodstock gives bands that platform. You know, it gives them that extra edge to have a headline shot, you know, to actually do things like that, and I think it really kind of will elevate the band. Not that, you know, they're not big enough, and especially, you know, with their stage setup, with pyro, it's just going to be wicked, man. But among that, you know, there's going to be all sorts of other good things. Like, I've done a whole write-up on it on my site, themetaltrist.com, which you can read if you want to. But yeah, so there's going to be wicked shops, there's going to be the Ram Gallery, all sorts of stuff. I really cannot wait for Bloodstock. It's one of my favourite festivals. I love the fact that it's kind of like quite close-knit, but there's also a big sense of community there, which is really, really cool. So hopefully I will see you guys there, and get ready to rock the metal.